Hi there everybody and welcome back to another video on the Toon Review YouTube channel, where the news today is that the club are going to be looking at extending Bruno's contract with a huge wage increase, which obviously would throw our current wage structure way out of the window. But we'll come to these stories in just a second. If you do enjoy today's video, guys, please, as usual, do hit that like button. It does move us up the search results on YouTube. And of course, if you want to be part of this Toon Review community, very close to 15,000 subscribers now, please do hit the subscribe button, which is free to do so, and also the notification bell, which will let you know when we go live or we upload a video. So thank you very much for that in advance. Now into the video itself, and as I said there in the intro, Bruno, who is attracting attention from a lot of big clubs, including the likes of Real Madrid and Chelsea, Newcastle United, it is reported, are going to smash their wage structure and offer this guy 200 grand a week or round about that. Now for me, we spoke about wage structures before. This has to happen, in my opinion, because if we are going to get the world-class players through the door at Newcastle United, the wage structure simply has to change. We cannot continue on the wage structure that we're on. And I think a lot of supporters understand that as well, that it just wouldn't make any sense to try and build the club without changing the wage structure. But obviously it has to be done very carefully. But Bruno is one of those players that is the type of player that you would expect Newcastle to smash the wage structure for. He's come in since January. He's been a revelation. He's took Newcastle to his heart, and quite frankly, from what he's been saying anyway in reports, he doesn't want to leave Newcastle, but they want to tie him down to that long-term deal to make sure that they hold off the likes of Madrid, Chelsea, or whoever it is that's going to come in for them, because to compete with these big sides, we're now going to have to change the wage structure. And for me, Bruno is the absolute number one player that we need to hold on to and keep to build a side around. And I think Eddie Howe would feel that way as well, about making sure that he is the main man to stay in that squad and build a huge successful team around. The spine of the team, if you like, with him, Botman. Of course, you've got Wilson and Isak up front. So you can, Nick Pope and go. A spine is there. And, you know, we're going to have to hang on to these players. But obviously money talks in the Premier League now, as well as success. And hopefully Bruno is going to be able to bring that success to Newcastle and get his rewards from the club as well. So it looks like the wage structure may be changing. So let me know in the comments what you think of that. Is it about time that the wage structure changed in order to bring in these bigger players? Because in my opinion it does. We need those players through the door, and especially the likes of Bruno staying at the club as well as the ones coming in on signing. So it's a big statement from Newcastle United if they do that. Again, progression, ambition, all of those words come to mind when you think about them smashing the wage structure in order to hang on to players like Bruno and such like in the future. Now, Isaac Hayden has also spoken out about why he left Newcastle United, and he felt that he had no choice. He was obviously injured for a very long time before he left the club, but wasn't prepared to be a bit part player and sit on the bench and take a wage. Now, I actually admire him for that, because we know so many mercenaries in football who've done that in the past, where they've just let the contract run down. They're happy to sit on the bench without playing a single game of football and just pulling money from the club. Now, Isaac Hayden didn't want to do that. He said that it didn't end the way he wanted to at Newcastle United, which is fair enough. I think he wanted to be part of this rebuild, but because of the injury, etc., it knocked him down the pecking order a little bit. And when Norwich came knocking, he had to take it because he wanted to play football, which, you know what, I really admire him for, and I really admire him for coming out and saying that, because like he said, he could have stayed at Newcastle, but he didn't want to just sit on his arse and pull a wage in, which we find with so many different footballers these days. So a massive well done to Isaac Hayden for that. He really should be applauded for that, to be honest. Now, Callum Wilson has been speaking in an interview regarding players that he would love to play with and maybe come to Newcastle United. Now, the one player that he's pointed out is a player that is sensational, to be honest. He's a wonderful footballer, and that is Kevin De Bruyne of Manchester City. Now, we know as a striker, you would love to play with Kevin De Bruyne, because he can pick you out anywhere in that 18-yard box. Look how many times he's done it for Haaland already this season, with some absolute pinpoint crosses, pinpoint passes. And for somebody like Callum Wilson to have De Bruyne feeding you those chances constantly, then you as a striker, you're just going to just say, well, there's no doubt that I would love to play alongside Kevin De Bruyne, because he's that kind of player. He can set everything up and really make a mark on a football club. So although it's not going to happen, that's the player that he would love to have in the Newcastle United team. And who wouldn't? I mean, can you imagine Bruno, De Bruyne, Joe Linton, Willock? You know, it just goes on and building quality. But, you know, Kevin De Bruyne is a pipe dream, I think, for a lot of football clubs, including ourselves. But there is others out there who will be the next Kevin De Bruyne. And the way Newcastle are at the minute, we will have an opportunity to get the next Kevin De Bruyne in the future. Certainly, the way we're going with the youngsters that we're bringing in at the minute, it is very, very possible that we may find the next Kevin De Bruyne in the youngsters that we're bringing into the club. Now, finally, Mikhailo Mudryk has been speaking in an interview and said that he would possibly be interested in a move to Newcastle United. Now, he's been linked with us. He was linked with us in the winter window. He was linked with us in the summer. He's now linked with us again. And he has said that it would be of interest for him to talk to Newcastle United. This is huge news as well, by the way, because you think about the amount of talent that's out there, these world-class or potential world-class players, they're all now talking about Newcastle United, because we know players talk. When they go on international duty, they'll talk about the clubs they're at the minute and what they can offer various different players, and Mudryk is one of them. So this is a massive statement again, and if we got Mudryk in the window, it would be a sensational and a real statement of intent again from Newcastle United. We know that the players that they're looking at or have agreed fees with already, they are going to be statement signings and help us push on for what we hope is going to be a European place by the time the season comes to an end. So who knows? You know, these players are now talking about Newcastle United in such a positive way, then it can only be really exciting for us fans to see what happens with that. But that is the news from today, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think about certainly the wage structure on Bruno, because that is a huge intent from Newcastle United, that they want to start bringing the big names in, and you can't blame them. This is an opportunity to start that wage structure change by making Bruno the highest paid player, and of course, not just the highest paid player, but a much longer contract, which is what we really want from Bruno. And of course, Isaac Hayden and Callum Wilson's comments. And what do you think of Mudryk? What do you think he would bring to Newcastle United should he ever sign? Because these players, these big players, are continually being linked with Newcastle, which is fantastic. But as I say, if you do enjoy today's video, guys, please do hit that like button. And if you want to be part of this fantastic Toon Review community, please do hit the subscribe button. It is free to do so. And of course, the notification bell, which will let you know when we go live or we record a video. We are very close to 15,000, which is a massive achievement for this channel. So hopefully we'll get there very, very soon. And if you're watching this on Thursday, don't forget to join us tonight at 8 p.m. for the Newcastle United versus Aston Villa preview with a really special guest. Former Aston Villa player Gary Thompson will be joining us for that one to give Villa's perspective on the game and what he thinks of Villa's season so far. And of course, we'll be talking about the exit of Steven Gerrard, Unai Emery coming in. What does Gary think he can bring to Aston Villa? And of course, you'll get our score predictions and Stato's predicted team lineup with his graphics and everything. So don't miss that, 8 o'clock tonight. But in the meantime, guys, have a fantastic Thursday. Take care.